Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've made it through this week's first batch of books. Now it's going to move on to this week's Avengers books. Kicking us off, we've got The Avengers number 9. Where we left off, the Twilight Court had invaded the Impossible City while the Avengers were fighting off Nightmare in Nightmare's realm. And basically, the Avengers kind of woke up and, there's a whole team of super beings that, one for each of us. And so, we open with a brief flashback. To before the Twilight Court arrived. Basically, when everyone was falling under Nightmare's influence. Largely, though, Carol Danvers is talking with the Impossible City. With the city explaining that it was going to destroy itself. In the hopes that would spare other worlds the depredations of the Ashen Combine. But apparently Black Panther and Captain America gave them the strength to live. With Carol explaining that she sent Black Panther there to do the hard thing because that's who he is, and she sent Sam to do the right thing because that's who he is. But the Avengers then promptly pass out. The city explains to Vision that something is wrong, with Vision agreeing that yes, all the Avengers are falling asleep. They're under attack. Remains to be seen by whom. So, since the Avengers have woken up, each one pairs up with their basically doppelgangers within the or with their opposite numbers within the Ashen Combine. When Thor deals with Galahad, he mocks her for being empty-handed, not so much as a hammer. However, Galahad can summon a hammer, and she does. The Hammer of Null. Null, from not Null, Goddess Symbiote, but rather Null, from oh God, what was that story called? Oh man, Null, N-U-L, basically. I don't remember. He was one of the Serpent's followers in. I wish I could remember that damn story now. But yeah, Null's hammer came through the Hulk in that story. But basically, each one is dealing with it. Like as I said, something of an opposite number. Black Panther is dealing with someone that who states that he cannot be defeated so long as his cause is just. While Scarlet Witch deals with their King Arthur, who's wearing the armor of Chthon. Whereas Iron Man and deals with their inventor. They're bantering that real well, just because it's like, there's clear respect between the two of them. Vision deals with Mordred, whose whole shtick is seeing how things come apart. And Vision are a thing made of many parts. Carol deals with basically their speedster. Cap with their basically their super soldier. And so the decision is made for the Avengers to basically switch foes. Bit of castling, as it were. And so Tony and T'Challa switch with Tony removing his armor to deal with T'Challa's opponent. How just is one's cause when an unarmed man is opposing it? Black Panther deals with uses antarctic vibranium against their engineer. Thor electrocutes Mordred. Cap dealing with the speedster, whose whole shtick is, it says, the guy who can't be touched. Okay, fine. I'm not going to try. Wait for the other guy to swing, because you can take it. And then you put him down. Galahad then has to deal with Scarlet Witch. Vision with Arthur, phasing his hand into Arthur's chest and grabbing his heart. Pretty much saying, I'll pull out his heart unless you guys stand down, and they do. But Wanda realizes there's one missing. Mirrodin, who is elsewhere in the city, attempting to kill Kang. And that is where the issue ends. I'm liking the story. It'll be interesting to see how the whole missing moment story ends up playing out. It's nice to have it be mentioned without being mentioned. Though I'd prefer it to be mentioned with being fully mentioned. Though with Kang currently unconscious, he's not really in a position to be talking about the missing moment. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got Blade number 7. Where we left off, after training with Dracula and embracing his more of his vampiric abilities, Blade got a phone call from Bruce Banner, who added that he was starting to get angry. And so, the issue opens with Hulk dealing with demons in the Pacific Northwest. Blade shows up and finishes the demons off, for the most part, though one of them does escape. Hulk reverts into Bruce, and Blade shows a bit of compassion and gives Banner his coat. They go to a diner. Banner talks about what's up, figuring that it's more along the lines of what's been going on in Incredible Hulk currently, Mother of Monsters being back. But Blade says, yeah, I kind of released a primordial demon called the Adana on the world and then lost the only weapon that could destroy it. So, yeah. Maybe why he didn't. The main reason why Doctor Strange isn't there and Blade is. Another reason being that Hulk doesn't have Doctor Strange's number. But to the church, that's where most townsfolk are. There's a story about told boy named Ronnie. Ronnie's father explains that Ronnie woke up in the middle of the night, went out into the woods, but when he came back, it wasn't him. Something got into him, tried to kill his mother with a kitchen knife, but that wasn't the worst of it. He coughed up one of the demons. Apparently, Ronnie was screaming like it hurt him. Begged his dad to make it stop, but he couldn't help. But it was something he'd do. Then he just crawled out of him, and Ronnie ran off. More of the creatures showed up. They didn't know what to do, so they all hid in the church. But Blade does point out he's not an exorcist. Though Banner countered with Blade understands the science, so to speak, of it. Blade states that all he knows is that something like a demon takes hold. Either you force it out with skills that Blade doesn't have, or you get it to decide to come out all by itself. And so Blade goes to the house of that Ronnie lives in, and basically offers himself as a new host to the demon. The demon accepts. After all, Blade's got power, so Blade seemingly takes the lead of the demon. The possessed Blade takes the lead of the demons, and Hulk meets them out of town and smashes the demons. And then Blade coughs up the demon that was possessing him, which is then smashed by the Hulk. But Blade learns some information being possessed, and realizes he has to go to hell. So Banner says that in the end, he thinks that's where they're all heading. And that is where the issue ends. Story's getting interesting. I'm honestly glad that the way what the cover kind of promises isn't what came to pass in the story. Blade versus Hulk story doesn't exactly sound all that entertaining to me. Like, maybe it's supposed to be a first meeting, but if the previous issue ends with basically with Banner calling Blade, yeah, no, that don't work. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Captain Marvel number 4. Where we left off, Doctor Strange and his wife Clea managed to remove some of the impurities within the Negaband, so that Carol and Una no longer are only going to swap out when they bang the bands together. But they've also found a potential means of removing the bands, and apparently they're housed in a fortress within the Negazone, which Carol has discovered. So they have a plan. Una puts on her facial recognition camo paint, which appears to even work with mystical means of surveillance. But Carol gets into the fortress. Then her and Una swap out. Una makes her way through the security systems, finds the remaining box. However, it's snagged by the Black Cat. And so Yuna gives chase, but they realize after a while it's not Black Cat. It's basically perceiving it, creating kind of a opposite number for Yuna as a bombing of security. However, when Yuna and Carol switch places, it's now Blastar, and so Carol takes on Blastar, takes him down. Then Carol and Yuna switch places. Yuna grabs the box. They switch places once again, and Carol knocks out Black Cat. They open the box, and an entity, the Undone, comes out and basically says that it has eaten the energy of countless worlds, and soon Earth will join them. However, first, a gift. A gift is offered to Yuna to become the Undone's omen, and herald its arrival to this world. In return, the Undone will grant Yuna a wish. Whatever her heart desires will be hers. The Negative Bandit is slowly killing her, after all, and the Undone can free Yuna from them. Carol says that the Undone's lying, but Yuna kind of, what if she's right? Or what if it's right, you know? And so the issue ends with Yuna accepting to become the Undone's omen. Interesting. And at the moment that happens, Carol is still stuck in the negative zone. So let's see if Carol manages to get out of the negative zone, or what. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got the Sensational She-Hulk, number 4. Where we left off, She-Hulk had destroyed She-Hulk in a fight between her cousin, the Hulk, as well as Anathema, destroyed an empty building on Jen's block. Jen and Hulk had a chat afterwards. Meanwhile, the Avengers were all curious about what's going on with She-Hulk. And it was decided that Patsy Walker, Hellcat, would be the one to approach her. Apparently, people aren't happy, though. The issue opens up, people aren't exactly happy with She-Hulk. She has a client. It's Devil Slayer of the Defenders, wanting to know about basically who owns the copyright, or if a copyright for the Defenders can even be utilized. Talking about merchandising and yeah, at Jen's apartment building, court at her apartment. Yeah, people aren't exactly happy to be around her. But she returns home. Jack is working on keeping his energies contained without his suit. When Patsy Walker shows up, insisting that Jen join her and Carol Danvers for a girls' night, and hey, Jack could come too. After all, Jen shouldn't be keeping secrets. So, however, Jen points out that, yeah, she's kind of public enemy number 1 at the moment. So, Patsy suggests maybe She-Hulk should go out as Jen. And they put Jack of Hearts in some clothes. However, when they show up at the club, they find Carol waiting as, pretty much as Captain Marvel, and, well, Jack's like, yeah, no, it's the, it's one thing for Patsy to know. It's one thing, for Ben Grimm or Titania to know. But the Avengers, well, they're the Avengers. And so, Jen, Carol, and Patsy go to the club. It's called Basement. The idea is being it's a basement party. Ratty couches, stealing booze from your dad's liquor supply, so on and so forth. But as Jen and Carol are talking, Patsy's not feeling too great, it seems. And but the three of them are dancing. But Patsy's getting a headache, and apparently she's seeing there's a bunch of demons. That is where the issue ends. Interesting. Let's see if these are actual demons or if it's Patsy having a party-induced, basically something bad combinations of booze, food, and infernally based source of powers. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.